Posr for Further Down the Rabbit Hole, and we're here at Rabbit Hole Central. I have a very special guest here who I met last night at Paula Gloria's birthday gathering. And my guest is, well, why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
I'm the guest, and you are the host, and you do not even know my name, so that's why you want to let me. So let me tell
DMT
the audience.
Is your name.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
DMT, D stand for
Doctor.
M for
Mac.
T for Trong. But I would like to see that as DMT means from empty. That means from nothing. And from nothing, what do you get, Posr?
From nothing? Well, I guess that depends on who you are. Most people would say from nothing you get nothing.
No. From nothing, the first thing you get from nothing is God.
You believe that God came from nothing?
Because God is the beginning and the end. Don't you read that?
Oh, I've read it and I've heard it.
That makes sense to you now?
When you say God is the beginning and the end, the beginning of what?
Beginning of the whole thing, of the existence.
Of existence. And the end of existence as well?
Yes. If you go by absolute relativity, it would do full circle.
If you go by, let's slow that term down just so that people catch that. If you go by
absolute relativity.
And how would you define absolute relativity for folks at home?
Absolute relativity is the principle of the moving universe. Because if you think of the universe as the hardware, absolute relativity is the software or the spirits or the principle that move the whole thing.
And so the spirit of the whole thing as software.
Now you get it. Spirit of the whole universe. And that can be done in absolute relativity because it can be understood, it can be worked out mathematically, logically, rationally. That's the difference with the regular idea of people. So let me give you one more idea to understand my philosophy. The person, human being, is like a computer. And actually the computer is like a person because that is a product, a projection, an extension of the human being. So in a human being, we have two parts. The first one is the body, that's hardware, and the mind, software. You see? So now, if you want to get how would the whole system moving, because beside the matter, you see the motion. The motion is the displacement of the matter. And that is based on absolute relativity. And what is the most difficult thing about the concept of absolute relativity is it's a contradiction.
And where is the contradiction?
Where's the contradiction? By definition, what is relative is not absolute. And what is absolute is not relative.
Well, when you say absolute relativity, you mean just totally relative. Isn't that what you mean?
Up to a certain point, but it's still not enough. Because that, you say totally relative, meaning absolutely relative, then it's okay. Otherwise, not completely a contradiction.
Well, that's what you mean. When you say absolute relativity, it's
what I mean is it had to be a contradiction, yes. It's just like the yes that is no, and the no that is yes. Otherwise, well, and I would explain it to you in more details, but maybe we'll talk about something else more interesting because it gets too philosophical. Basically, the human mind of the Western system deriving from the teaching of Aristotle based on the principle of non-contradiction that Aristotle defined as principle of contradiction. That means what is contradictory is not true. You have to choose. Either you exist or you don't. And therefore, there was a famous question by Shakespeare, to be or not to be, that's the question.
So in your philosophy of absolute relativity, where does Aristotle's philosophy fit in, or does it fit in?
Right, that is very, very good question. That's exactly that. So, therefore, in the West, at least, you cannot play with absolute relativity. And even absolute relativity was actually invented or thought of by Protagoras. That means a philosopher preceding Aristotle at the time of Plato and Aristotle. So by that time, when Protagoras teach that everything is relative, that's how he would teach absolute relativity. Then Aristotle come in with his logic or the argument. He say that no, not everything can be relative because that would become a contradiction.
You know, it said that Pythagoras got...
Protagoras. Maybe you've mixed up with somebody else.
No, he's the one with the hypotenuse and the triangle. A mathematician.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Protagoras.
Not
Pythagoras, but Protagoras.
Pythagoras.
P-R-O-T-A-G-O-R-A-S. Forget about the name. That's for philosophers and for this history of philosophy. The main point is he teaches that everything is relative, which is very close to absolute relativity, except that Aristotle make a principle that the highest principle is the principle of non-contradiction. Thing had to be or not to be, and you cannot, let's say, mix them up.
And in theory of absolute relativity, that is not the case.
So that is the basis for all the rational thought in the West.
Yes.
When you say that to the court, like, yesterday I was there, and later on you show that I was not there. Now they will say, that's a contradiction, right? Have to choose now. The guy must be lying. Either he say that it is he was there or he was not. You cannot say both he was there and he was not. That's the main choice now you have to see. Yeah, either you are guilty or you are not guilty now, right? Thing like that.
Well, there are some other variations, no. But speaking of the court...
Yes, so that is exactly the point, you see? The point is you have to choose that is the basis dictated by the ration of the principle of non-contradiction of Aristotle. Now you say that depends, so you are the one who already want to relativize his principle. So if you go by absolute relativity, then you would find out that the principle of non-contradiction of Aristotle is not supreme principle. It's not absolutely true. That's the answer. The same way as absolute relativity is a contradiction, it's not absolutely contradictory.
Well, you spoke about the court, and we spoke last night.
Okay.
The audience wasn't here, but what could you tell the audience about yourself, about what you're doing in the courtroom?
Oh, I'm a lawyer for 25 years. I was in court a lot of time. I have 25,000 clients. I have done at least about 25,000 lawsuits of all kinds.
Well,
and my experience with the law, with the court system, that's what you want to know?
Well, before we even go there, where did you get your JD from?
The JD?
Yeah.
I got it from France, University of Paris, School of Law. So I was educated for the college-wise entirely in France.
And do you have any other?
Here?
No. Do you have any other degrees besides jurisprudence?
If you talk about my degrees, I may be, at least I am among those guys who have the most diplomas, important diplomas in the whole world. I have something like 3 BA.
3 BA? What is 3 BA?
1 MA, 1 MS, and another MA, another MS. That makes 4 of them.
And in what areas?
PhD.
In what areas do you have a Bachelor of Arts?
I have in law, in psychology, philosophy, political science.
And you said you have a couple of MAs, is that right?
4 of them.
4 of them? And what are your masters in?
In the same fields, yeah.
In the same fields. And then you mentioned...
PhD.
One PhD?
Three.
Three, in the same fields, of course. Well, in which fields do you have the PhD in?
I have in law, political science, and in philosophy.
Law, political science, and philosophy.
Yes.
All from France?
Most of them from France, yes. One equivalent law degrees right in the NYU law school.
You know, just something just occurred to me. Do you remember your first case?
First case?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. Because the first case are small, and then at the beginning, I would do a lot of landlord-tenants cases.
Mm-hmm.
They are not real cases. The courts are like kangaroo courts. They are not too serious. For tenants to be sued in court by a landlord to be kicked out. It's right in Manhattan and in the Bronx. That's where I start.
You believe that? Well, you said they're not. Well, you call it a kangaroo court, so it doesn't seem to be
too serious,
too fair. Because it's certainly serious to somebody who's about to get kicked out of their apartment.
Now, that's you're right. Because, yeah, it's very, let's say, in the basement, and then there's a lot of movement, noises.
Do you think a camera in the court would make a difference in what's going on in the court, or what effect do you think that might have?
I am sure that make it a big difference. Because now, if you want to tell me how come that it's different, yes, I can tell you the actual case with one of the judges. That day, I was sitting in the courtroom and waiting for my case to be called. But before my case was called, there was the case of Giuliani divorce was called by the judge. I don't remember the name of the judge anymore, and I promised that I would forget about that and forgive her, so I'm not going to mention anyway. But that's one of the cases. So when she called a motion for that case, she was very serious. Wow. She acted really judicially. That means like a judge talking, okay? And it takes time to do a nonsense motion. That means motion that is very simple, like, I don't remember anymore, but it was simple anyway. It's not even on the substantive issues. But the point is, once that case is finished, she come back to the same routine, talking in a very vulgar manner, and doesn't even give enough time to other cases. So now, with a camera, maybe she won't do that.
She would look like she was giving favoritism.
For everybody. Yeah. Of course, when it's on camera, then you have to act as a judge for every case, right? Otherwise, right there, this part is no good.
I was really fascinated by your case that you were telling me about, your lawsuit concerning the Bible, or publishers of the Bible.
Oh, that's a good case, yes. Yeah, it's still pending right now.
Yes. Maybe you could give the listeners and viewers a brief synopsis of what that case is about.
Okay. I read the Bible. I already wrote onto the whole book about the Bible, and it's called Cross-Examining the Holy Bible. And about like 10 years ago, I sent a warning to the American Bible Society by saying that they had to put a warning in the Bible showing that the book is not all facts, but is the mix of facts and fictions and opinions. And those people who want to believe in it literally would do so at their own risk and peril.
Now,
of course, those guys did not listen to me, right?
Those guys being the American...
the publisher. So, I start suing them. And that's real cases. I sent you by email. Maybe you saw that a little.
I didn't read the entire email.
So, so the main point is, I sue them for two things. for libel first.
And how was it you believe that the publishers libeled you?
Oh, now that's very good question.
By publishing the Bible.
Yes, because first, they libel me as a God and as a man. Assuming that they describe the real God. That's insulting because
you said they sued you. You said there's God and man in the Bible.
No, not that. I said that I sued them for being libelous against me.
Yes.
And they can be seen as libelous against me in two ways. First, as a God.
As a God.
As God.
You as God.
Right. And me as a man. Both ways I'm insulted by the book.
Well, so you're claiming that you are, one, that you are God, and two, that you are a man. Now, your name is DMT, but you claim that you are God.
I don't claim I am.
You are God. And
I can prove it to you more convincingly that as I'm sitting right here in front of you.
Now, you filed a lawsuit in court on this matter, right? In Southern District, in Manhattan.
Yes.
Now, when they opposed you, did the opposition oppose you?
Of course, yeah.
And did they cite the fact that your name on your, I guess you have a passport or a driver's license, or do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
What name is on your driver's license?
Dr. Mạc Trường.
Right. God, the name God is not. So did they say, well, he's not God because the name on his driver's license is Dr. Mạc Trường?
No. So that's maybe your personal argument about the case.
No, did they go there? Did they go there? I'm not making an argument.
They go nowhere near those kind of discussion.
No. Okay. So
that's not the focus of the opposition papers.
Okay. I just,
I'm just... want to know, I can tell you.
No, well, now I'd like to know. I just wanted to get that... I just wanted to get that part...
That's okay, too.
Straight. I just wanted to get that part straight.
That's only an accident by the technician.
Yeah, well, it'll
That's okay, that's good.
Well, so what was... They may have come oppose you on several points. What
the main point?
Yes, the main point
is they did not insult me.
They claim they didn't insult you,
Right.
and the reason, why did they say they didn't insult you?
First, there's a few reasons, and side one is I am not the one who would be personally aimed at to be the object of any insulting statements in the Bible. For example, now you have to ask me first, what are those
insults
statements that I find insulting in the Bible toward me first, so you can understand how they would object.
This is correct.
Right? So you have to go back to that.
Yes.
So in my complaint, I say that it's libelous because they paint God as a murderer, mass murderer.
Let's go even back before that. How is it that you claim you are God?
Oh, that's a very pretty question. I don't claim against. I just tell you the truth. And that is one in the court papers. I can get in big trouble for perjury if it's not so.
Well,
you know that? So how many people would see that in the world right now? I am saying that in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, and also same thing with the
What is the basis of your...
You agree that is a tall claim if it's not true?
If it's...
Where would I go?
If you say you are God and you are not God, and you swear to it or you affirm to it under oath, that's what's called perjury.
You agree, right?
I do agree.
So it has to be serious. So at least from my side, I'm sincere, right? And not only I'm sincere, I have all the evidence.
The only thing I know is that you probably haven't been charged with perjury because you're sitting right here, right now, and that's still live. So what is the basis by which you claim that you are God?
Now, Posr, that's not, again, claim. No. That's only a reality. So I have only 5 proof. everything is relative, okay?
Everything is relative.
Okay, so I'm God only from 5 point of view.
So there are five premises.
And beyond that, I am not.
Repeat that again, because
there's only 5 criteria by which I am God.
5 criteria.
Beyond that, I am not.
Okay.
That means it's relative, right? Just like say, I'm rich. Okay, I'm rich compared to the guy who has less money, right? But compared to the guy who really have a lot more money, I'm not that rich. I am even poor, right? Who knows?
So this fits into the whole absolute relativity scheme. Right, so you're relatively God.
Relative.
You're relatively God relative.
But then my relativity is much stronger than the regular guy. That's what it counts. You see what I mean now? Assuming say, yes, Einstein is intelligent, but he's still not absolutely intelligent, right?
Because there are people who are more intelligent than him.
The level of intelligence by Einstein is not so bad, right? You agree with that? Not so bad.
He may have had a little bit more knowledge. I don't know about how intelligent, but we'll
just say.
For the sake of argument, I'll say yes.
So now, yes, so you understand my point.
Yes, relativity.
So just go by what are those 5 criteria. Physically, I'm God. By image, I'm God. What you see, I'm God. Right? By the awareness, I'm God. Then let me count it. And then we can go back one by one, either one you want. Okay? By the spirit, I'm God. Right? And one thing more. By documentary evidence.
Physically, spiritually, image, documentation,
and awareness.
Awareness. Mm-hmm. Now let's deal with the physical, because you must have alleged this in your complaint.
No, I like.
Did you break it down in your complaint?
Oh no, not that. We don't have to go that far, because when they believe that you are who you are. You don't have to go in details.
Well, did they challenge you being God?
Challenge that.
They didn't even challenge that you were, and the court didn't challenge.
No, nobody challenged.
Nobody challenged that you are God.
That's how they use technicality to get me. And then that's how I can also show you how the court cheats.
Okay.
And that would be pertinent to your point. Is that what you're looking for?
Well,
that means bottom line. They lost the arguments, okay?
They didn't go there.
They use technicality. No. Yeah. They use technicality to get rid of you. That's how the court cheats. So let's go back to my fun here.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get back there for a second. But I'm really fascinated. I'm really fascinated with the fact that they didn't challenge that you're physically God.
Yeah, but don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Who cares about that? What kind of evidence do now you want to talk to me about?
Well, you don't want to talk about the physical, the spiritual.
Yes.
Oh, you do.
Of course.
How are you physically God?
That's the point.
Because you got a body just like I've got a body.
That's
just
the point.
So why do you have a body of God and my body is not God?
That's a good question. That's why I'm dying to wait for that question. Here's how I prove it to you.
Come on.
You don't have to, but I would say most of the people would believe that God is everywhere. Is it?
This is what it said.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
A lot of people may not even have a thought about it, but most people would think, okay, that's a good idea. God is everywhere.
Yes.
That fact is not absolute either. You see?
You say not absolute.
Right, but then it makes a lot of sense to a lot of people who believe in God. Right?
Yes.
God is everywhere. Right?
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Am I not somewhere?
You are somewhere.
So?
But you're not everywhere.
That part is correct too. I'm somewhere.
You're somewhere. Right. So relatively, you're God wherever you are.
You get it. Mm-hmm. You get it. Right?
I get it.
So now, the fact that God is in you too now, because you are somewhere too, right?
I'm right here.
So the fact that you are God too, right?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of the 5%?
Just for one, the percentage. You physically are God, I'm physically God. But the fact that you're God, would that stop me from being God, being here? No, right?
You're there.
Right.
You're there.
Same thing as I say, I'm breathing air. Because air is right with me. That's how I can breathe air. Same thing with you now, right? But the fact that you breathe air too, like me, right?
Yes.
Doesn't stop me from breathing air. So the fact that you have a body or matter that is inhabited by God doesn't stop God being here. So physically, that's it.
So if...
So how can you now, another way to prove that is, if God exists, just hold on, let me explain to you, it's very important. If God exists physically, not only as a spirit, but only as matter too, right?
Yes, if God
exists as matter too, right? So, what kind of matter would he be made of? Same matter is ours. Otherwise, we can say that it doesn't exist.
Why would it be the same matter as ours? Why couldn't it be some other kind of matter that we don't even know about?
So, then we do not have known about their existence then. We just assume that he would be existing the way we know that matter exists.
Well, in this case, God is
in this case, to exist in a so vivid way as human being exists, that's what interests us at this point, right? For the supposition of the existence of God, then it should be of the same matter as our matter.
And you mentioned that word.
It's not.
You mentioned that word assumption, right? Let's say God was made of some matter that was not even known.
Right.
Then would you claim that the Bible should have a warning that says the claims in here are an assumption?
No, that's far. No? I'm not that childish. That's really what I'm doing is
But what you want is a warning on the Bible.
Well beyond.
Right? You want a warning.
Yeah, but
you want a warning.
But not because of those things that is, let's say, so trivial for consequences.
Well, that has consequences.
We'll go back to what kind of warning we're talking about. But right now.
Well, then let's jump right to that, because what kind of warning? What kind of warning do you want?
The warning I want is...
And why do you want it?
Is to say that the Bible is not all facts. It's a mix of facts, some of it, and a lot of opinions and fictions.
Assumptions?
Mm-hmm. No, fiction. Opinion and fictions.
Opinions and fictions.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that you cannot tell people to believe in it, what it's saying there, literally. And if you do, I'm still a very liberal person. If you do, you do it at your own risk and peril. The same way as I put down on the poison, the back, warning, this poison, don't drink it. That's all. The guy who still wants to drink it, fine.
DMT, I hate to, we've only we haven't even scratched the surface of this whole idea, and we've got 10 seconds left
That's good.
In this show. So in that last, and now we've got 6 seconds, why don't you wrap this up for this session?
I wrap it up by saying that if you want to know more about DMT God 3.0, you have to watch the next show, especially at Posr. He's good. Great.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. Well, in this form right here, my God is saying goodbye to you, and come back next time and find out you might be God as well, where you are, absolutely relatively.
Oh, here. But that's why we come up to the 4 other evidence.